Okay, hi, welcome to BBB. Today we're going to import the drums we got from Matt Ingram at Urchin for Diesel's Colour Me Red. We're going to have a little sort through the files, maybe check any phase and alignment issues, and let's have a look now. Okay, so here is our Logic project file for the Colour Me Red demo. Let's go and find the drums we were sent by Matt. Okay, here they are, neatly set out. So take one, I'm going to grab all the files, I'm going to drop them straight into our project and create new tracks. There they are. Now, just to make life a little easier for myself, I'm going to colour them all a nice bright blue. Now I'm going to go and get the next set. So that's take one. Take two, here we go. Drop them into, again, creating new tracks. And let's make them a nice blue colour too, but a different one from the first one. Okay, let's go get take three. And drop them in. Create new tracks. Now these ones are already the kind of standard blue, so I'm happy to leave these. Before I carry on, I'm going to save. And I'm going to save as Colour Me Red drum import. And that is so I know that this is a good starting point. And I'm not going to mess with the original demo. Now I need to group these together as takes. Every different DAW is going to have a different way of doing this. In Logic it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to select floor 1, I'm going to select floor 2, I'm going to select floor 3. And on the top one I'm going to go pack take folder. Kick 1, kick 2, kick 3, pack take folder. Overhead floor, overhead floor, overhead floor. Overhead rack, overhead rack, overhead rack. Rack 1, rack 2, rack 3. Room left, room left, room left. Room right, room right, room right. Snare bot, snare bot, snare bot. Snare top, snare top, snare top. Pack take folders. I can now delete all these excess tracks we've created. Also, I can go to our mixer here and I can select all the drum tracks that we've just dropped in. And before we do anything else, I'm going to create a little group here called Real Drums. And I'm going to select that they all edit and stay phase locked together as a group. This will ensure that they all stay nicely synchronized. And if we zoom out, there we go, there's our drum tracks. If I pick this top floor one, you should see a light blue, a dark blue, and a dull blue. That's our 3 takes. And in fact, if you look carefully, as I edit one, they all edit together, which is great. So, okay, so now those drums are in place, we need to check that they actually line up with the music. So we're going to mute the old program drums that we had. We're going to go to the mixer and we're going to turn all the new drums right down. We don't know how loudly they've been recorded, so let's play on the safe side. And let's just zoom over to the chorus and see what we've got. Okay, that's great. They synchronise, they seem to play with the song. Now, obviously, I've just dumped them in. There's no panning and there's no level adjustment. So let's do that now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is sort these drum tracks into an order that I'm happy with. So I would generally have my overheads at the top. And these are labelled overhead floor and rack, which leads me to think that Matt sent me Glyn John method. Again, we did it here when Scott came around to do the drums, and Matt's gone for it instinctively. So it just shows what a common Drum method, that is. So we've got overhead, floor and rack. I would then like to hear the kick. I would then like to hear the snare top, the snare bottom, the rack tom, the floor tom, and lastly, my room mics. Now, you know, some people like them in a different order. It's really each to their own there. Now, what I'm going to try and do is hide as many of the audio tracks from the demo as possible. So we've just got the drums here. There we go, lovely. Now, before I start messing around here, I'm going to do another save. And I'm going to go save as drummer line. Now, every step of the way, I'm doing a new save. I want to make sure that if I make a big boo-boo, it's very easy to go back a step, especially at the end of the day when you're a bit tired. It's very easy to do something silly and then spend half an hour trying to retrace your steps. But this way, it's really easy to go back. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solo these overheads. And we're going to have a listen to them without the music. And we're going to have a look at them on the mixer. We'll bring them up on the mixer here. Okay, overhead and overhead. And let's have a little listen. I think they sound great. I think we could happily go up a little bit in volume. Now, if they're Glyn Johns, I'm assuming the overhead rack will be the microphone that's facing directly down at the snare. And if I'm facing the drummer, that will be on my right. So I'm going to pan that one somewhat to the right, you know. And then the other one, the floor tom, that will be over at the left as I'm looking at the drum kit. So I'm going to pan that all the way to the left. Now, in theory, the drum should sound nicely stereo with the snare drum right in the centre. So let's have a listen. Now, I think that is pulling distinctly to the left. So I am going to reduce the left hand by about 3 dB and try again. I could play with the panning, but often it's just a volume thing. Okay, that sounds like a good pair to me. I'm now going to bring in the kick drum and see how that sounds on its own first, and then with them. And let's bring in the overheads. Now I'm going to check the phase alignment I'm not looking at any waveforms at this stage. I'm just having a play around. I'm going to phase invert the kick drum and just check it's in the right place. Okay, it's subtly better without the phase inversion, so I'm happy with that. Okay, now I'm going to have a look at the snare drum. So first let's have a listen to the top mic. Wow, that's really fat, that's great. And let's bring in the bottom. Now just to check, we've got them optimally set for phase. I'm going to try reversing the phase on the under snare, which is the common place for people forget to do that. Now I think that's a good demonstration that they are perfectly in phase. When I reverse the phase of the under snare mic, they disappear and become thin. So let's take that phase plugin off. I'm happy there. Let's put the overheads, the kick and the snare all together and have a quick listen. Okay, they sound great. I'm happy with that. Now the next two we've got are direct mics on the rack and the floor. But actually, looking at the waveform here and here, I don't think we've got any toms in this song at all. So whilst I'm not going to delete them, I'm going to mute them. I might end up deleting them later, but they might come in handy. Now, something we didn't have the luxury of when we recorded Scott's drums at home is room mics. Now these at Urchin, where Matt recorded these drums, is a great big live room. It's lovely. So he could get these a good distance back from the kit. And let's have a listen to how that stereo pair sounds. Yeah, that's wonderful. They really sound like the room. Let's put them all together, have a little play with the levels and see if we can get a good working balance. Sorry about that, we lost face cam for a few seconds there. So I'm really happy we've got a good working drum mix for Colour Me Red. Drums sound great. I'm going to go ahead and make a few edits to the timing to get it really close to the program drums we've got, which seems to work so well. And then I think it's time for bass. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.